The person to look at today is Bobby V. Bobby Valentine, announced last night here in Boston as the 45th manager of the Boston Red Sox. He is a native New Englander. At the press conference, for all the people that have called him arrogant and all this and that, he stepped to the podium and the whole tone of his introduction as the new manager of the Boston Red Sox was, I understand what the Red Sox are all about. I'm humbled. I am honored. He showed no traces of the arrogance that people say or the know-it-all that he says that he is. Bobby V, friend or fraud, again, we'll decide at the end, Tom. What do you think about Bobby Valentine?
Number one, it's a fantastic hire. Listen, the party is over in Beantown. You miserable Red Sox fans, you and your freaking nation around the country are going to go back to what you normally do. Bitch and moan about a crappy, underachieving baseball team.
We call it care. We scare because we care.
I'm not done. As a matter of fact, let me get right to the point very quickly. Let's go a little bit to the right of friend, and that's family. Bobby Valentine, to me, is family because he is going to go into that clubhouse and he's going to root out these malcontents and these selfish athletes that play for the Boston Red Sox. For the last 10 or 12 years, the inmates have completely run that asylum. You know that's true, Stearns. You were in that locker room, in that clubhouse for many, many years. You know exactly what I'm talking about. They need a guy who could come in there and restore some
because
order.
They've been so unsuccessful winning 2 World Series in the last 9
Sometimes
years.
you have to put on-field wins behind character, moral dignity, and highfalutin.
Tom, the last time I checked, this is pro sports. The Bobby's not going to let everybody play in the game because their parents are in the stands. Not everybody's going to get a trophy. They're not going to talk about sportsmanship. This is pro sports. It's big business. It's the last time I checked. And by the way, Vince Lombardi is gone. The days in pro sports of cleaning out the clubhouse with $1 million contracts. I mean, come on, live in the real world, Tom.
I am looking in the real world. And if Bobby Valentine wasn't the right fit, why would your brilliant ownership and your new general manager hire him?
Okay, let's stay on that for a second.
He's what they need.
You
guys have opened a fast food restaurant in your clubhouse and a bar. When you do that, changes have to be made. Heads need to roll.
I'm all for entertainment in the clubhouse. Let's talk about him as a manager.
Bobby Valentine is different. He's very sure of himself. I've read a lot of stories on him. Just New York Times yesterday had a great story of what he did in Japan, how he, if you guys would you're not going to like him in Boston because your players are going to not like him, and you're going to take on the
I completely disagree. Red Sox fans, for all the arrogance you call it, are smart baseball fans. We're going to love Bobby Valentine for a period of time. He's going to have a shelf life like anybody else. But I do want to ask you about him as a baseball manager, and I want to give this history. What I think makes him qualified, or he has, again, I don't know whether he'll be successful or not, but I think these things make a difference. He was one of the highly recruited guys coming out of college. Terry Francona was too, and out of high school in baseball. He was drafted coming out of high school. He ended up going to USC. He had his choice of places to go. He then was the number 5 overall pick in the 68 draft by the Dodgers. He played for Tommy Lasorda. He played in the major leagues and made his debut at 19 years old. But like Francona and other bonus baby guys, he had a very serious injury. He was traded to the Anaheim Angels. His career was cut short. He was a journeyman. So here's my point. He's seen every end of it. He's seen that he was the star. He's seen that he had to survive as a journeyman. He then went into the coaching. He's got a lot of qualities that can lead to a guy who understands both the number 1 guy and the 25th man on a roster. I think he's set up, and he's got major league experience to be a good manager in a major market like Boston that still has pretty good pitching. I think he will be successful, and that's not the Red Sox fan in me coming out.
Just a quick comment. There's no more gratified 3 words in the English language to me than when I hear you say, "Here's my point." Generally, it takes an hour to get there, and it takes an hour afterwards before I can begin commenting on it. But I love the fact that you weave that into that soliloquy. Bottom line, Stearns, let me speak very clearly here for the rest of America, because I am speaking for the entire United States of America when I say this. We don't give a damn about the Red Sox, okay? We want you to lose. I want to go to an Angel game, or during interleague play, a Diamondback game, or a Dodger game.
Go ahead. Go to your Angels games. Go to your Angels games. You can show up in the second inning.
This is the disabolishment of Red Sox Nation, okay? And that's a good thing of you guys swarming into every ballpark around the country and taking it over. Because you are now a third-place team in the AL East.
Listen.
Period.
You can go to all the Angels games you want, probably D-backs games. You can show up in the second inning, sit in the 5th row. You can leave in the 7th inning. That's how baseball's watched over there.
I agree. That's exactly what I do.
Great.
Except there's no way I make it to the 7th inning. I'm usually gone by the 6th.
All right, final point of Bobby Valentine. I need your comment on this. Did you know, by the way, Tom, he has a place called Bobby Valentine Sports Gallery Cafe down in Stamford, Connecticut, where he's from. He gives a lot to charity, all this and that. But he claims that he invented the wrap sandwich. It's a pretty strong claim.
You know, it would be a hard thing to refute, wouldn't it? I mean, There's no Earl of Wrap like there is the Earl of Sandwich. I'm going to take him for his word on this one because I don't know what reason he would have to lie about it. The guy's brilliant. He's a very intelligent individual. And Butch, get past the rhetoric and the guy can flat out manage. He took last place teams in Japan to the Japanese championship. Look what he did with the New York Mets. What have they done since? He should have won that World Series in 2000. We all know that. He is a very good baseball manager. You just have to have an open mind as a fan base and as a roster. And that's the problem. I don't think you will on either sides in Boston.
All right, my conclusion, Bobby Valentine, friend. You know what he is. You get him. You may not like him, but he's a friend. Guy you'd want to have a beer with and a guy who is what he is.
I agree with you on this one, Stearns. After watching him on ESPN the last couple of years, seeing his antics, friend. We have so many robotic coaches in sports. I am so sick of the non-personality droids. Give me more Bobby Valentines. I would love to share a wrap and a beer at his restaurant in Stamford.